Hi there, this is Chris, and this is my game development log for the 6th of May, 6th of the 5th, or 5th month, 6th day if you're in America. And I am going to do some stuff. So, I'm testing out my subtitles first. Okay, it's not quite right, so let's open up the widget. I'll make it readable to humans. I think I know what the problem is here. I select the border. I'm guessing it's not anchoring properly. There we go. Compile, save. Let's see if that works better. And I'll just hit F11.
Living human.
That perfect. Okay, that's great. Alright, so I can close that down now. And definitely reduce my volume. Cool. Okay, so I am working on a new bit. And so I'm going to be doing a little bit of, I suppose the best way to describe it is experimentation to get this working. I'm just going to, my chair is so squeaky, I need a new chair. Please feel free to donate me a new chair if you work for a giant chair company, that would be awesome. Or just, you know, something $15 for a second-hand chair, I don't care, I'm not fussy. Okay, the Outer Islands project. Right, so what I'm going to do is, I've got a couple of temporary items I'm going to be using for this. So I need my content browser, there we go, which is here. And I'm going to go to my hospital stuff, which will be under hospital, parts, props. Yeah, that will do, this electroconvulsive therapy device. I'm going to do a little bit of model editing on it as well before I start, because it's important that I get this working just the way I want it. So if you've never used the modelling tools inside of Unreal Engine, okay, you're going to be seeing me do a bit of stuff. Once the computing references window has gone away, there we go. Right, so I'm going to drag it in again. This time I'm going to use my tools here. And what I want to do is I want to cut into this, okay. So I'm going to create a second mesh, which is just going to be a box, to be honest. So selection mode, Windows, I'm going to go to place actors, got my window here, I'm just going to grab in a shape, it's going to be a cube, drag it in, and this cube I'm just going to carefully mess around with the size and shape here, okay, because I want this inside here. It's really important this fits and creates like space inside of this system. Okay, so if you're not used to doing this, don't worry, okay, this is just like old school stuff. Just gonna turn off that, there we go. So this is just like old school modelling stuff, okay, if you've never done it before, don't be frightened, it's actually great fun. What I'm doing here technically is more like kit bashing, and kit bashing is like really fun. Years ago I used to know the guy who did all the kit bashing for the trench on Star Wars, really cool guy called Tom Martinek. Was it the trenches? No, he did the second Death Star, I tell a lie. And he was like a really interesting guy, you know, so all the stuff he did was kit bashing, and I was always fascinated to hear about that. He also did the, he started off doing the original special effects for the, I think it was the first Toxic Avenger maybe? Really interesting guy anyway. So I'm going to start here with this, okay, so I've got my first object. I'm going to select the second object too, there we go, and I'm going to go into, make sure I've got this window here, modelling mode. Right, I'm going to get all this stuff down the left here, and what I'm looking for is polycut, maybe mesh. Let's go down here. See, what I really want is a boolean. Okay, apply boolean to the two selected meshes. but it's not letting me do that. And the reason it's not letting me do that, to be fair, is because this model here, I'll just go to its home. Okay, this is down here in the engine folder. So I'll do a Control C and I'll Control V and put it here. And I'm going to select it. And just pop it here. Okay, so now this is being replaced. So as long as I save everything, there we go. Now then, can I, yep, there we go, Boolean. So now I can Boolean one from the other, as you can see. I'm just going to come in a bit here. That's really handy, you see, because I've cut that space out there. Now I've still got control over my Boolean, which is fab. It's going to widen it a teeny bit. Okay, there we go, maybe narrow it a teeny bit down. There we are, that's ideal. So now I can see in the guts of the system, which is what I want. And for the output, I'm going to put it in my current folder. But it needs a name. Okay, it'll probably ask me for a name, so I'm going to call it SM Bracelet Scanner, because that's what I'm literally building, and click Accept. Okay, so now I've got this object called SM Bracelet Scanner, which is really handy. So inside of my props, I'm going to call it Bracelet Scanner. Just quickly down a little bit of admin in here. Okay, make sure I've got everything I need. I'll move the extra numbers from that bracelet scanner now because I don't need them. And I'm going to just get rid of this cube, okay, because I don't need it. Sometimes this will crash on Unreal Engine, a lot of the time it'll be fine. I'm going to get rid of this original model because I don't want it. And it's gone, good. Now that may break some other stuff that I've got with this in, but to be honest, such is life. Alright, so with this done now, I've got enough to get started on. So I don't know if this has got a collision mesh. It does not, that's fine. Also the scale on this is really, really wrong, so I'm going to need to fix that as well. So I'm going to change the scale on this to around about 2. And you'll notice it is now falling through the floor like a good one. So we can fix that as well, one issue at a time however. So I've got to make sure this is the right size first, this is really important. Okay, so modelling mode, I'm already in it. Go to X form, edit pivot, bottom. Make sure this is in current folder, click accept. Okay, so the current model is now updated. I'm going to go into my level blueprint. And inside of my level blueprint, I've got some stuff going on that I don't want here. There we go. I don't want to keep getting that tannoy announcement every time I'm testing stuff. I know the tannoy works. Okay, play from here. That isn't bad, needs a little bit more work on it. So what we're going to do is continue building. Okay, so I'm going to go to my... I've got a load of steampunk bits down here. Just to get the right part. Steampunk assets, meshes, let's see what we've got here. That's kind of nice. Have we got any with a big bloody hole in the middle? Not really, that's a little bit problematic for me. I didn't want one with a big bloody hole in the middle. I'll see if I've got anything else in other parts. Let's check this one. That pipe straight small is actually going to be perfect. So I've just dragged that onto here, and you can see how that like basically sticks in the front of here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it so it's round about the same size. Just going to turn on Alt F3 so I'm basically able to see this a bit better. Now I can see this is far too big, so I'm just going to do it again. I want this basically to be about the same size as the piece it is about to replace, you see. Go in there. Now, that part's nearly coming out the back, but nearly isn't the same as is, which is good. So let's just bring these in, like so. You know what, that's pretty good so far. I'm just going to scale it on these two axes as well. It just looks better, you know, really well. Yeah, look at that, that's much better. Basically replacing our kind of shabby looking one. Like that. And what I can do is Control C, Control V. Make a second one. I'm going to rotate it. There we go, look at that, that's nice. And what I can do is just push that out a little bit. Not too much. I think I'm moving it in the wrong direction actually. Okay, let's move that out. There, look at that. So now we have this lovely hole, which is what I wanted. And if I check it by doing Alt 4, I can see that that's looking good. Okay, and now all this crap on the side, because this was just a test model. Yeah, that stuff on the side's got to go. We'll fix that in just a minute. First things first, let's go back to the original folder that this was in. There it is, SM bracelet scanner. And I'm going to start messing around with adding these meshes to it. So if I go to mesh, I'm going to union the selected meshes. Plop. Okay, now make sure it's in my current folder. Click accept. Okay, so now I get my next merge level. So this is, I'm going to call it SM bracelet scanner MK2. Okay, we're just going to keep doing this until we end up with the one that we want. Now, this is currently not with the correct pivot, but hey, you know, beggars can't be choosers and all that. So now we're going to do a modelling, and I want to find, here we are, plane cut. This is the one. I'm just going to angle it. And this is cool because it allows us basically to get this kind of trim here, and this is going to get rid of all this garbage I've got at the side. It's not really doing me any favours, right? So go there and just get rid of it. Current folder is good. Click accept. Beautiful. Can do the same again over on this side. Now this side's more complicated because if you look, I've got some things that have hoses coming out of and stuff. Okay, so I've got to be careful how to trim this garbo out. Let's get the plane cut. Bring it over here. Now again, remember, if I trim too much stuff, I'm going to lose like hoses. So I've got to really balance this out. You can see down here, for example, there are some hoses there, but from my point of view, if I can find a way to make this work, I'm going to. Right, so that looks okay. I'm going to click accept. And you're like, Chris, what have you done? You've just made a garbage model, you awful garbage modeler. I'm like, yep, that's what I'm doing at the minute. Got to break it to make it, dudes. Got to break it to make it. Okay, so those tubes at the back are kind of okay, but a little bit messy. I can probably do something with those if I have to. But for the moment, I'll keep them. Now it's the side parts I want to sort out next. So let's go back to my window, and I'm going to go to my place actors, which I already have. Get them the cube in. Why, hello. This cube is going to go over here. You're like, Chris, you mad Egypt, what are you doing? Well, I'll tell you. What I'm doing is kit bashing. Okay, I'm making a shape, and I'm going for a shape that I ergonomically like. Now the initial shape I had was just some sort of garbage auto-generated model, okay, that you can get from, you know, any absolute awful 3D model generating AI nonsense stuff, right? So nothing good. But what I'm doing with it is I'm using it basically as a basic object, and then I'm building on top of it. There we go. And by doing so, I'm going to get a better object, one that I do want. Now, go around this side. The most important thing you've got to remember is be aware of shapes and curves and all that kind of bad stuff, right? You want this to look good, we don't want it to look terrible. Think to yourself, what would Terry Crews say? If he'd come round and shout at you for doing an appalling job, then you know that you're not doing it right. Plain and simple. Okay, so we have these parts here now ready to add onto this. So I'm going to add that, and that, and yet again I can get my mesh and I can just do a quick union. There we go. Let's get all those parts in, and I'll just accept, and now we've got SM scanner part Mark II merged, blah 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 blah. So this is our new really big named one. Okay, we're starting to get there. Now, if you remember that pipe we were using when we come back, and let me see, static meshes, here we go. We grab that pipe again. Because at this point what I want to do is do a boolean, but merge in the boolean. Okay. I've got to be very, very aware of how I'm doing this, because the scale is really important. There we are. About halfway through for the minute. Sometimes a lot of this just needs like slow hand, okay, so take your time. It's not a race. There we go. So now we have the inside of this set up the way that I want it. And I'm going to select this and this. Oops, don't want to move it. This and this. Little model, boolean, and this is going to be a union. Okay, because I need the two parts to be unioned. Done. And now this is our fourth one. So this is actually our fifth model that we've created now. We've got 5 different variations coming along slowly one after the other. And inside of this, where this goes, I need an internal part really. Let's see. I think what I'm going to do, to be perfectly honest with you, is put some machines in here. So I'm going to open this up as a blueprint now. So first things first, I haven't added these to it yet. And these are the old cube, remember, so that's no good. I need to go and find the cube again. There we go, I'll put the cube back there. Otherwise our boolean will not work. There we are. Now, let's start putting them together. Try that again. Is this using the right one? It is not. Now it is. And we're unioning. There we go. Now I want to use this one, so I'm going to grab here and here, do the same again. This is not the right one. Do it again. There we go. Now I can union it. There we go. And now we have the most recent one, which is, if you look, we've got flipping loads, that one there. So I'm going to delete everything else. And that just leaves me with this one. Okay, and this one's okay. This one is the one that I want. Now, what I've got to do is effect pivot only, Xform, edit pivot, bottom, accept, done. Great. Right, now I can build this into an interesting object. So, blueprint class, I'm going to make a new one, actor, and I'm going to call it DP bracelet scanner. Okay, and this is like a key item in the game. Also save that while I'm at it. Give it a new name, SM bracelet scanner. Okay, so we've got two items in here now. Now swap these over. And there we are. Okay, cool and groovy. Let's put this sequencer thing down here. And check this in. Okay, and there we can see it is now sitting there all good and ready. Compile and save. Now, it's time for its internal parts. And I have some ready to go. So I'll just find them. Here we are. Right, so for the inside of this, I would like to place inside of it an epicyclic gear, I think. Or, no, I'll put in some gear components just so it looks a bit scary actually. There we go. So for this, with these selected, reduce them in size significantly. Because I have to actually go inside of it. Okay. And I don't want it too big, which it is at the minute, so I'll make it 0.1. There we go. Good. Okay, and I want to make sure this moves. It's moving every 0.2. That's not a good amount, so 0.01. Actually, 0.02 will do. Compile, save. Okay, so now the bracelet scanner's got this inside of it. And if I was to come back and look at this, this is just a mesh, combined mesh. I'm going to replace you now with the correct item, which is the BP bracelet scanner. And we should see this part now inside of it. Glorious, look at that. Okay, so it's doing all the bits it's supposed to. I'm going to change these materials to two-sided so it looks a bit better as well. Let's just go over to its material it's using. Bracelet scanner, there we go. Let's go into this and no two, is there two-sided option? There is not. So I'll have to go into its basic parent material. Whatever the heck that is, there we are. Oh, great. So inside of this one, I'm now going to have to find its parent. Oh, good. do this quickly. There we go, and that's now changed this to a two-sided material, which means that it's not taken effect. Brilliant. You know what, I'm going to make a new material for this because it's annoying. I've got the textures and everything. Material like this, matte, bracelet, scanner. This is a really cheese material. I should tell you this now. But I do not care. Okay, that's the BT, so that's good. I need my PBR, which is a kind of alcohol, I gather. Let's see. That'll be that one. Just trying to remember how these are done. And the last one is ambient. And then the last one to go in is the normal map. And the normal map goes into normal. There we go. Beautiful. Now I'm going to go back to my original mesh, whatever the flip that is. Hang on a second, I think it's in here. Bracelet scanner. There's the bracelet scanner, and I'll just pull in the material. There it is, and now it's two-sided. Bit of a faff on, but at least we now have a two-sided material when it decides to work. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is go back to my complex blueprinty stuff. There we go, and I'm going to stick some bits in. So for this I need, let me see, oh, I know the piece I need. I want this one, it's lovely and big. And I'm going to make it 0.1 like I did with the last one. Oh, accidentally reduced the size of the wrong piece there. That's alright, hang on. Just means I've got to put the bracelet scanner back to the size it was. And this is the piece that I need to reduce in size, and it shouldn't be parented anyway. There we go, bring it up. This to fit in here. Just like that. And then its little clone on the other side is going to come out like that. And we'll turn it over. There we go. And then up here on the top, decisions. I think I'll just stick the monitor system on the top, which is enormous, by the way. It's a very big piece. I need to rescale it definitely for this to work. Oh, sorry, this did used to be enormous, now it's apparently teeny tiny, so that's good. I'm just going to resize it. There we go. I'll stick it in here. Pop that about there, and that will leave me a nice space on the left. just want it to look like it's going to fit, because that's important. Ideally without breaking the system. Now then, for these parts, I'm going to put some chrome. Actually, no, I'm going to put brass in. I prefer brass. There we go, anode brass. That looks nice. There we go. Always does well, nice bit of brass. Hit save. And I've probably got room to put another piece in if I want one. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Actually, no, I'm going to leave that area empty, because I do need an empty area in this to actually control things from. So I'm going to make a couple of copies of this so I can see it from different angles. Press play. That's okay. I'm not sure what's going on here, to be honest. Oh, I see. I accidentally copied a component rather than actually copying the blueprint. There we go. Go back to this again. Right, so play from here. Nice. Okay, that's working. There's a basic piece. There's some things I don't like in here. But I shall edit those now. Do not like that. There we go. And I'm not convinced that these things on the side are actually giving any value to the model. So I'm just going to get rid of them. I think, to be honest, the fact that there's weird mechanical stuff happening inside it is perfect. Yeah, that looks okay. Now then, the brass that we're using probably needs to be double-sided as well, because I've got a feeling it definitely isn't. Go in here. See if that edits anything for me. Right, let's have a look now. Yeah, that's better. That's much better, in fact. Okay, now I know there's a load of stuff in here that's causing issues, so I'm going to get into my sequences. There we go. Just start clearing up over here, because I've already let's see, these are hospital parts, aren't they? I need to clean this level. You know what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to start a new level, and I'm going to put this part in it so I can test it. So file, new level, basic, and then save as, and then I'm going to save this as untitled, and I'll just overwrite it all. There we go, that's better. Now I can stick my BP bracelet scanner in it and have a good look at it again. Right, everything else kind of taking up loads of time and space with it. I've got a feeling that there's something compiling or doing something, because there's an awful lot of lag going on at the moment. I think I need a smaller hole inside of there as well, because that's quite large. I can possibly just attach something like a cuff or something on it. What if I've got anything? Let's have a look. I've got this, but it's a little bit big, I think. Cool though. No, there's an awful lot of like chunky terribleness going on at the moment. That's okay. Alright, so yeah, that's worked. So I'm going to get on with something else now. And for anyone who might have been watching, if there was anyone, it seems... Oh, hello Crosswind, how are you doing? Did not see you there. So I was about to say, for anyone who's watching, and there's Crosswind, I'll probably get back to something else in a minute. Although the speed seems to have came back now, so go figure. I think it's OBS, to be honest. I think OBS is like very, very laggy when it comes to doing stuff. However, you know what? I might as well continue. So, back at my bracelet scanner. I'm not sure where my bracelet scanner blueprint is. Oh, there it is. Right. Okay. So, what we need to do is ensure that they're only going to interact with it from the front. So I'm just doing a little bit of research here, bear with. Okay. Okay, I need to add... is this where I'm going to set the player location? Okay, did you get player character? Get world location. Get world rotation. There we go. So I'm just messing around here, doing a little bit of experimenting. Then these are our starts. These are our ends for arrow here. So I should technically be able to do a timeline. No. Okay, and inside of here, that track that's no more than 1.5 seconds. Okay, this is 0, 0, this is 0, and 5, 1, there we go. So we're just going to move it in place. Okay, so for this one, we're going to interpolate between two. So this, God almighty, it's been a while. Update, and we want to do a linear interpret. I want a lerp. Okay, so we'll lerp between two values. It'd be helpful if I could bloody well not have to use a lerp for this one at the moment. I can't rotate this to a bollocks. There, lerp a rotator. Do it that way instead. There's our other rotator. Put the value into there. And then we're going to lerp this vector. Same again for this vector. Put that in that. And yeah, this is messy. Put that in there. Put that in there. And then let's feed this value into there. So now we have a return value. Right, let's try this. That doth not want to work. Although it doesn't want to work because I haven't actually connected it to anything. That's probably why. There we go. Now we'll try it again. Oh, there we go. Interesting. We do play from start on this one every time. Play. The location's not quite right though. For some reason I'm on the floor level. That's weird. I'm wondering why that is, although what I could do split the structural pin. Look at my initial V-lock. Split it. Put the Z in there. And the X and the Y in there. And that means I shouldn't lose my initial balls. Although, I think that's because what we're getting is we're getting capsule height. If we recall here, we could just get the capsule component instead. Actually, I know what I need to do. I just need to increase this by the amount that my capsule will be, which will be about 180, won't it? So, I just need to add to that. About 180. Just till it gets to the end. Too high, so it needs to be 90. There she blows. That's it. That's the part I need to stand in front of it. Perfect. Okay, and now I just need to tidy this up because no one wants to see this. So, it's my main event interaction. I'm going to set my V-lock. For this to work, I need to read this information here. That to there. Okay, so move that to there and that to there, just so it's more readable. Okay, next, try to do this timeline. Alerts. Don't break this, it's important that this stuff isn't broken. There we go. Let's see, this is the arrow. There, that's a little bit tidier. Put some notes on this. Set the height during the transition. Okay, I can see what everything is. I don't think I need to add too many more notes to this. So, when we do the event interaction, we're going to step in front of it. And at this point, this is where animations are going to happen. So we're going to have to check that they have an item. Okay, so we need a function. Where's my functions? Here we are, a new one. Player has cuff. The return type of a boolean. has cuff. Pile and save. Okay, so inside here, cast to BP, horror game state. Let it now. Get inventory. Okay, got that. Get inventory items. Okay. For each loop through the array. Inside of this, I'm going to be looking for array elements. I need to create my bracelet class. Okay, so it's going to be a battery item basically. So for this I need to create item data. So blueprint class, item data, that one. We want it to BP bracelet. Okay, and then inside of here, let's see. Class defaults. That's where I am. Name is that. Description is that. Don't really have any icons, so I'll just use battery for the moment. So I need the battery icon. There we go. No. That one. Right. Compile. Save. Okay, so back over to my bracelet scanner. Acquired bracelet class. Bracelets. Good game state. Okay. So wrong one. Right, so we need to go over here to my event graph. We're going to set at thingy. So once it's finished, we come down here and we're going to do has cuff. That's cuff there. A little branch. Right, so has cuff. There's our condition. So let's see what happens. Not appear to have done a print statement at all, what are concerned me. Success. Well, sugar lumps times trues. Just pull this out. You have bracelet. Okay, just need to double check this again, make sure it's working. That's actually quite important. Right, okay. Okay. So you have bracelet. Success. Okay, so we know this works. Just move these straight to here, or to here. That's classifying the player correctly. So that is good news.